So as far as dosing the flourish is concerned, for this aquarium, I would dose about 2.5 caps twice a week. Now, over time, if I'm seeing any yellowing in the leaves, then that would inspire me to want to increase my dose slightly. But in saying that, what I tend to do is use 2.5 capfuls twice a week. And then once my plants are looking completely lush and I'm completely happy with the plants, I will commonly actually just reduce the amount a little bit. So I would then go from 2.5 twice a week to maybe 2 twice a week. And then if my plants stayed lush, I do tend to just reduce it just a little bit again until I find out what the level needs to be. Because what I don't want to do is go adding more than we need, which can also embolden the algae. So if we started with somewhere to start, so let's say 2.5 caps twice a week is just a starting point. That is not where we end, that's where we start. Then we just do that for a couple of months. Then if the plants are looking 100%, then we could slowly decrease that level until we get to a point where you are seeing a little bit of yellowing. Then you just up it a little bit to find the actual level. So a lot of people will do it with a dosing pump. Like, for example, the aquariums that we have at the shop, we don't want to be thinking about this all the time. So what we'll actually do is set our dosing pump, and then the dosing pump does it for us. We just have to make sure that there's something in the bottle. So we'll turn it up a bit, then we'll wait a month or so, then we'll just monitor it, and then we just turn it up or down a little bit according to what we're seeing. So if we're seeing yellowing, we're going to turn it up a little bit, and then we wait a month or two, because everything that we do needs a biological lag, which is, let's say, 1 to 2 months to actually make a difference. And then at the same time, we don't want to add more than we need to. So if we play that little game, we can play that game with the Flourish, and we can play exactly the same game with the Flourish Excel. So let's say we started with a similar dose, like 2.5 caps twice a week of the Flourish Excel. And then if you're not seeing the algae and you're just seeing beautiful, healthy, flourishing plants, then in a month or two, what I'd tend to do is just reduce it slightly. And then if it maintains just as good, I would think about reducing it slightly. Then if you start seeing a little bit of blackbeard coming back again, then that probably means that you've now just gone below what you needed to be, and that's okay. You can then bump it up a little bit until you find that sweet spot for your tank.